Hey everyone, welcome to part 3 of apartment hunting in Sydney. I've been through at least tens of apartments now, and in this video there's a few more that I saw before we secured a place. So spoiler alert, we did find a place, but I'll tell you all about it later. For now, see what apartments and their prices are in Sydney and what you get for them in one of the most ideal locations by the beach and on the North Shore. And if you haven't watched my previous videos, go have a look because those will give you a good idea as well. Sydney's rental crisis is real and we all know that, but let's see what it's really like and for what price, for what place. So if you're in the same process, take a deep breath and just try to enjoy the process because you will find something in the end, but it is competitive. So let's get into the video. Okay, so the first place was in Bondi, right on Bondi Road. I have lived in this neighborhood before and it is quite busy, but this was kind of secluded and it had its own entrance from the main road. It was quite quaint, I'll say that. It was well maintained, but it was tiny. Even if it doesn't look like it here, the kitchen looks nice, it has everything you need, but I just know with the amount of stuff we have, it won't fit in that living room and the kitchen. Even the bedroom was tiny and it just had a long window. For that price in Bondi, I think you're really just paying for the location and being close to the beach. But in saying that, it wasn't the worst. We saw some in Elizabeth Bay, which isn't even close to the beach. And I haven't shown that in my previous videos, but it was not worth it. But this, I think, is worth it if you're like a single person or a couple that stays out a lot. And it didn't have parking, so we thought we'd move on to our next options. This was in Mossman and it was a granny flat. The price is amazing because it does include bills because it is a granny flat, so they can't separate the bills from the main property. And it was quite spacious except for the bedroom, and it has everything you need. A big courtyard outside as well, which I'll show you. Internal laundry. In terms of location, it is off a main road, but if you walk 15 to 20 minutes you'll get to some of the North Shore beaches. But it was on the main road and the only way you could get to the city is through the bus, and I did not want to rely on the bus, so we moved on to the next option, also in Mossman. It was on the smaller side. You could get the furniture with the apartment if you like, and it's owned by some American owner, so you wouldn't hear back very soon from these guys apparently. And we did want to bring our own furniture, so it wasn't ideal, but also because the location wasn't close to the beach. And again, you'll have to rely on buses. Then we moved on to more closer on the North Shore to McMahon's Point, and this one was super worth it. It had a big kitchen area, had a bathtub, even an electric towel dryer in the bathroom, and a very nice living room, very spacious, and a main bedroom with built-in wardrobes, which I really like. So this was definitely a contender and a lot of people like this place. The next one took the cake, and rightfully so. Look at these views from their main area, and of course a lot of people showed up for this even though it just went on the market like one day ago. Huge lines. Everyone had to take their turn in groups to see it, and it just had spectacular views. This was also in Mossman and more affordable price for what you're getting. It had a bedroom with built-in wardrobes and bathtub, and it was relatively close to the beach, but because it is on the North Shore, it is down a hill, so when you come up from the beach it will be quite hectic. So after that we moved on to Coogee. Took a little dip before the inspection, and this was a studio, but because it's near the shops in the middle of everything and you can get to Coogee Beach, we thought we'd check it out, and it really did have everything you need. It had a big balcony space that has city skyline views and a little bit of an ocean view on the other side. It did come with the furniture and we did want to bring our own. The bed was falling apart, but they had this nice common area as well. So this week we really had to apply for as many as possible, so we tried to cover as many of them that we could afford. and we're in the same area. We kind of gave up looking on the eastern suburbs because there just wasn't any good options left because it's going into summer. Like, if you come during winter, those same places are so much more reasonable prices, but right now it's crazy because there's so many people, as you saw the first Bondi place. And to be honest, in my opinion, it's not even worth it, even if it's for the lifestyle location, because you can get such a good lifestyle in some other places of Sydney as well, like the North Shore or in the northern beaches, like Manly. And we just tried to extend our search over there more. So out of all these, we applied for the Mossman granny flat. We liked that it was really spacious, it was close to a beach, and it included bills, but the transport would have been an issue for us long term, but getting stuff in there would have been easy, so we applied for that. We got that one, more on that later. We applied for the view place as well, the incredible views. We applied for that one, and we were going to apply for the studio in the Coogee Randwick area, but we were too late because we were contemplating if we will be able to live in a studio, and by that time it was already taken the next day. Even though it was on the long weekend, everyone told us, every real estate agent, that just apply, but we won't look at it until Tuesday because it's the long weekend. So long weekend is basically when we have the Monday or Friday off because of a public holiday, but someone got approved for that studio on that weekend, so we didn't get a chance anyway. The Views place, by the way, we were shortlisted, but we didn't get a call back, so I think someone else got it. We also applied for the McMahon's Point place. We were shortlisted, but we weren't the preferred candidate, I think, so we didn't get a call back from that straight away either. We got it the next day, but by that time we had locked something in, because once you get approved you have to put down a holding deposit, and that is 1 week's rent. So we had to do that on the day that all of them got back to us, so we had to decide. And there was one other place that we saw that I didn't show you, and it had a little view of the harbour and a little view of the Opera House. It was Art Deco, older style building, but they were accepting 6-month lease and close to shops, close to amenities, close to a little beach. Like, I wouldn't consider that a beach, but it's a small beach, small secluded beach. And we got that one. In the end, it was between that place or the Mossman Granny Flat, and because the transport was better in the other place, we went ahead with that, and that's where we're living. I'm currently in our old apartment, and I'm gonna do a apartment tour of this place that we're leaving. We've had some fond memories here, but it's time to move on to the next chapter. And that place, by the way, is just such a mess, but when I sort it out, I might do an apartment tour of that one as well. So stick around, watch out for those videos. Go follow me on Instagram as well, because I'm posting on there as well of the amazing lifestyle that we're fortunate enough to live. Just loving every minute of it. I was skeptical at first because it is an older style building that we've moved into. It's got its charms, you can say, like creaking floors and just looking a bit older, but some people love that. I've just personally never lived in a place like that, so it's all new for me, but I am loving the fact that it's old brick, so the house doesn't get that hot. It's just always cool, which a lot of buildings here don't have, especially on the eastern suburbs. So I am growing to like it. As for the advice I would give if you're apartment hunting in Sydney, try to aim for finding the best deals. So our budget was 500 to 700. We're willing to push it a little bit more, but try to find apartments at the lower end, because they do exist, even if people tell you they don't. There is a rental crisis, but that means there are multiple people at one apartment. But never underestimate your chances, because you don't know someone's income, you don't know if they live in the country, you don't know what kind of arrangement they're looking at, so your terms might be most favorable, even if you don't think so. You can even show your savings as part of income proof. If you don't work here or are not living here long term, you still might be in a better spot than someone who lives here and earns and does not save anything. So you never know. And I would say try to extend your search and view as many places as you can within your budget, rather than stretching your budget and looking at a few. I had to give up on some places even though I was willing to pay a little bit more, but I knew realistically I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't stretch my budget just to have a nicer place. I should have a decent place in my budget and try to look for as many as possible in that budget rather than just a few in my higher budget. So that's my advice. And if you'd like to follow along on this journey, stick around and I'll see you next time.